Everyone, Dan at Ochiko Bushcraft. Well, I'm out here doing something for the first time today. I have to tell you, I have never used a folding knife in the woods. And a lot of you might think that's kind of funny, but my very first knife that my dad gave me when I was a kid was one of his old hunting knives, which happened to be a sheath knife. And I carried that with him, I think, from the time I was 7 or 8 years old. Every time I went into the woods with my dad, and when I got my hunter's safety permit when I was 12 and was able to hunt with him, I used it, and I have always carried a sheath knife in the woods and used it for pretty much everything. Now, I've taken a Swiss Army knife in my pocket on most occasions, but other than the can opener and the saw, I've never used it. I've never used the knife blade. So today is actually the first time I have ever used a folding knife in the woods. I am a huge fan of sheath knives. You know, I got, today I happen to have my Becker BK16 on this side and another Becker over here on this side. But I started by doing a bunch of research on YouTube, watching videos to see what kind of folding knife people were comfortable with out in the woods, and what knife they were having the most luck with as far as putting it under a lot of heavy use and the lock not giving away or anything. And the one that I kept coming back to was the Cold Steel Recon 1. So that is what I am out here field testing. My very first time of using a folding knife in the woods in 50 plus years of life. So, a little bit about the knife. 4-inch blade. It's standard lockback, which I really like. I am much more comfortable with the lockback than I am the liner locks. It's just the folding knives that I did have growing up, which I always kept a folding knife in my pocket, by the way, for around the house, cutting open cardboard boxes, cutting string, cutting a piece of hose when working on the vehicles, whatever. But I just never took one into the woods for use. But so I grew up with the traditional lockback, and that is what I'm most comfortable with. Recon 1 comes with either hunter's point, tanno point, or spear point. I chose the more traditional spear point for personal taste. I believe the handles are G10. Got two nice finger grooves, which are really comfortable, and the handle itself is textured, so it's not going to slip. It feels like a good solid knife. The steel on it, I looked this up on Google, guys, because I'm not real familiar with the steel, but this is what I got off Google. It's S35VN, and it says that this was a stainless steel that was created to improve the toughness over S30V. Don't know, that's just what Google said, so I'm just giving you guys what they had to say about it. So I'm going to start right off with fire. I always carry a piece of fat wood in my pocket whenever I'm out, and I do one stick fires, and I'm going to start with that. I'm going to go ahead and do something that I never thought I would ever do with a folding knife. Never thought I'd use one in the woods, but I'm going to baton this down into fine sticks like I do my one stick fire with, and see what happens. And it is a small piece of wood, so it's not going to be heavy batoning, but you know, this is what I do. I do one stick fires all the time when I'm out here. So not a lot of force hitting on the blade, but nothing's loose. And seems to baton quite well. Very nice. I wouldn't grab a big piece of wood and start banging on it. But you know what? For getting firewood, to make my one stick fire. It's doing the job just fine. Very nice. No complaints at all about that. None. And just to check, shaving test. I'm still taking the hair right off my arms, no effect on the blade, as that little bit of batoning shouldn't have. Okay, I don't have any big pieces left, but let's see if I can't get some little curls off this. There we go. Nice. Wow. Oh, dug a little deep on that one. Well, it'll make nice little curls. Not a problem. I like to take little shavings off the end, make a little pile of shavings, hit it with my ferro rod. Very nice. Yeah, no problem in making fine shavings. Fine little curls like that. And it will catch a spark from my ferro rod. Okay, so if all I had in my pocket, God forbid, was a folding knife, this cold steel Recon 1, no problem in doing my one stick fire. I've got my kindling. So let's see how it does on a little bit of carving. Let's start by just pointing a stick here. A little more work than my sheath knife, obviously, lighter blade, but it's doing just fine. Yeah, that's just fine. Okay, about a traditional 7-notch. I'll even tap it in a little bit. Just to give it a little bit more heavy use. Nice. Seems to do the trick. And I'm rethinking things as I'm doing this, guys, just so you know. My thinking of not bothering with having a good folding knife out in the woods is changing, because this is doing a very nice job of fine carving. All right, how about something a little more traditional? See if we can't make a pot hook up here. There's some knots in this too, so I'm going to have to work around them, which will make it a little more challenging, but we'll give it a go. Nice. First time I tapped it, I was a little unsure, but gaining confidence in it, definitely. Okay. And I got a knot right here on the side I got to cut through, so let's see how that works. Oh, right through it. Very nice. So now this is something I would actually use this for. There's been many times where I've made a little pot hook to hang a cup or something on to heat up over the fire. And it is doing exactly what I want it to do. No complaints. Wow. Very comfortable in the hand too. That grip that they put on this knife. Very comfortable. Okay. Working out nicely, guys. Oh, yes. Look at that. There you go. Wow. Nice little pot hook. I'm impressed. I'm sure there's other good folding knives out there, that this isn't the only one, but this is my first one. And as I said, I chose it by watching other reviewers on YouTube, and it seemed like the Cold Steel Recon 1 was getting a lot of high praise being used out in the woods for batoning, carving, different things. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to try a folding knife, I'm going to try one that other people are having good luck with, and I'm very pleased. I think the Cold Steel Recon 1 is going to go into my pocket and become a part of my bushcraft gear from here on out, and just always have it with me. You know, maybe I only have one sheath knife along, and it's my big sheath knife, you know, like my Becker BK9 or something, and so I want to have something to do some fine carving with, and I have no complaints at all about the Cold Steel Recon 1. Really enjoyed the little bit that I did with it this morning, and we'll start carrying it with me, and we'll start using it, you know. Just a little bit of carving, but it did a very nice job. Did a really good job. And baton down my fat wood so I can make a little one-stick fire. Anyway, guys, Dan at Ochiko Bushcraft, and I would say that lesson learned for me in this is to be willing to try new things. Only took me half a century to get around to actually trying out a folding knife in the woods. Hopefully, if you've never done it, you won't wait that long. But sometimes, I guess we need to stop and rethink things a little bit and be willing to give things a new try. And I'm glad I did. It was really cool, and now I have one more tool in my bushcraft gear whenever I'm out here. Guys, thanks for tuning into Ochiko Bushcraft, and take care out there.